Do I enter? Do I, ancestors? Do I? Ancestors, grant that we may reach the heaven of everlastingness and the mountain of thy favoredness. May we be joined with the shining beings, holy and perfect. May we come forth with them to see thy beauties. Thou shinest at eventide, and thou goest with the ancestors. Ashe. Welcome to the Sankofa Ancestor Shrine. I'm your host, Sacred Woman Practitioner Tatami, and today we are going to be talking about sacred time, some discipline, and also how we can invite the ancestors in to this work utilizing our book, Sacred Woman. If you don't have the book, that's okay because I read from it, but I'll also let you know what page I'm on if you want to read along in your copy, which I know a lot of people have. So today we are going to be mostly focusing on pages 38 and 39. I do want us to be able to start putting some of this discipline into our lives. And I also want us to recognize that our schedule may not look exactly like this one. Remember, Queen is giving us guidelines, but she's not saying the only way to become a sacred woman or the only way to, reach any sort of modern what am I saying, divinity, as a person, or be able to remain in your center, is if you wake up at 4 a.m. every day. You know what I'm saying? There has to be a balance. There has to be a balance because, much later on in the book, she's going to mention how your sacred meshkinet, your sacred work, is also incredibly important. And not everybody's sacred work takes place between, the hours of 9 to 5. Not everybody's sacred work has even a set schedule. I can think of many people like that. We have people who do divination. We have birth workers. Lots of people whose schedule is just on call. And so they couldn't necessarily get everything done in the perfect time that is set out in this book. But this is a good opportunity for us to take these guidelines and see how we can fit them into our lives and see how we can alter our lives to fit into this schedule. If you do have lots of small children, if you are homeschooling, or if you have your own business, what are ways that you can do these things? And what is the time when you can fit these things in, such as altar time, such as sacred baths, such as sacred meditation, and smoke cleansing, and all of those other things. And what are the ways, if you do have children, that you can get them to join in with you, or if you have a housemate who is also practicing a African traditional religion, or if you have a spouse that you'd like to be doing more spiritual things with, then that's also what you're going to be taking into account, because all of our lives and situations are very different. To begin the work of Gateway Zero, we must first align our body and mind and spirit with a new sense of time. When you honor your sacredness, you begin to understand that all time is spiritual. When you live in a more cosmic, timely, organized fashion, you are more in tune with self, humanity, and the moon, sun, and stars. Time moves in a circle. It's ongoing and it never ends. Even at the end of life, when we think it's all over, it begins all over again. Our ancestors have said that life is eternal. I am yesterday, seer of millions of years is my name, traveling along the way of Heru, the light and the truth. The sacred clock keeps on ticking, so use your time with complete awareness and as much grace and mindfulness as possible to gain the power, clarity, wealth, and oneness in the spirit that comes in the fullness of time. The more you are in tune with and respectful of time, the more you will be blessed by time. We use every bit of time all the time, so use your moments with as much wisdom as you are able. What we do with our time will ultimately determine all our successes and all our temptation. Time is filled with all kinds of choices. Please think first to make your choices wisely, for you will live with all your choices, good and bad, for all time. My soul has guided me to dance in the space of time, to release the remains of a day gone wrong, or to dance in the space of time in praise, because my inner soul was jumping for joy in my midday, or to dance gentle and easy, because I survived yet another day with grace and ease. So I think this last paragraph especially was what's really important to keep in mind. She talks a lot about doing things, filling the time. What you do with your time impacts you for all time, and that's all very true. So we do have to remember, though, it's not always an action, right? It's not always scrubbing the floors, but sometimes it is. It's not always, spending lots of time at the altar, but sometimes it is. It can also include, you know, dancing very slowly with yourself, not pushing yourself to these extreme limits because you recognize your vessel is tired, taking a nap, laying outside in the grass, meditating, relaxing, not pushing your body super hard, finding those moments in your day where you can replenish your soul and your spirit and your energy a little bit. So I also, we'll keep reading. We'll keep reading. Prayers for the sacred times of day: sunrise, midday, sunset, and nighttime. Within the course of 24 hours, Ast, Isis, and her sister Nebethet, Nephthys, our ancient African guardians, come forth to greet us at their designated time of day. Help us to maintain our spiritual, physical, and emotional and mental equilibrium, and remind us to use our time in the spirit of Mat. All praise to you, Mother, Father, Creator, the keeper and bestower of all time, the aspect and reflection of the Most High. Divine Creator, you have helped me to be in harmony with the seasons of times, with the time of day, the time of the moon, the time to eat, the time to fast, the time to rest, and the time to rise, the time of my womb cycle, and the time to be intimate and nurtured. May I be in tune with the lessons of time and use it well, and with divine intelligence. May I keep time with the ebb and flow of my emotions so that I am able to maintain inner harmony. So remember, with all of these prayers, you can switch the words to ancestors, you can switch to Mother Creator, Father Creator, Mother Earth, insert whichever, spiritual being that you're working with. And usually I would say the main one that you're working with, and, keep it moving that way. So we're going to start with the Nebethet, sunrise. Adoration to you, Nebethet, you who appears between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., the female guardian of the darkest hour before dawn, the balance between night and day. You appear at the earliest morning light, standing as the gatekeeper of this twilight time. Honor to you, Nebethet, the lady of the house and sister of Ost, the lady of heaven, for living within us as we tune in to a new day coming, that we as women may carry our house, our bodied temple, in divine right order. And also remember, you can switch genders as well, especially if you're trying to be a sacred woman of your community. You will absolutely need to switch gender terms if you're talking to a group, if you're talking to an individual, if you're, just you're not sure exactly who you're talking to. Some of this may be virtual. You do need to make sure you're using the correct words and making sure you facilitate safe spaces of peace as a sacred woman. So the time of Nebethet is the time that our melanin, symbolic of our spiritual force of enlightenment, flows strongest. During Nebethet's sacred appearance at dawn, sit in quiet meditation. You may place a purple or white prayer shawl upon your head as you meditate on the cosmic, sacred lady of the house coming through you in a state of cleanliness and Mat. Upon the roof, so balance, right? Upon the roof of her house, she is crowned with a bowl representing purification, completion, wholeness. And at the gate of her house is the Mat feather of peace and harmony, which will touch and anoint you upon entry into your divine self. Ring a bell to summon the heavenly hosts, that they may come around you and within you. Burn incense of frankincense and myrrh to prepare for a purified day. So, reminder, substitutions for things, whatever color of a head covering you have, please use that. When you have a feather, I know Queen uses an ostrich feather, use whatever feather you have. Ringing a bell, use whatever instrument you might have, 3 notes of your guitar, clap 3 times, that sort of thing. You always have an instrument on you. You can sing, you can hum. It's up to you. Oh, Ost, midday. All praise to you, Ost, the great mother. Time reflects through you as the brightest light of midday, when the sun is highest and strongest in the heavens, on earth, and within us, giving us great vitality and vigor. Ost, I thank you for this potent charge of light from you at the time of day you have set aside for my complete blossoming. Beloved Creator, help me to stay in tune with time, to be on time with life, and with the commitments I make to be shared with the world of time. So the Het Haru there then is going to be sunset. Heteru, Hathor, the lady of divine love and beauty, makes her appearance with the setting of the sun. Our ancestors called her Hertnebet Amentet, or Hathor, Lady of Amentet, for Amentet is the west, where the sun sets, and thus the place of renewal for the ancient Kemetic peoples. So we're going through it all, right? Sunrise, midday, sunset, nighttime is going to be next. And that's a reminder as well that you can make this fit with your schedule. It's rare for somebody who gets up at 4 a.m. to also be up at nighttime, right? Those people tend to go to bed a little earlier than others. And also, there's power at each times of these times of days that you can utilize to work with your schedule. So if you do have the nighttime shift somewhere, you are able to be able to connect with Newt. You might rise at the midday and have prayers with Austin. There is power. A lot of people talk about the moon, but there's power every day at noon. You can charge things. You can, I like to put my infusions out at that time around noon and keep it out for an hour or so. It's just a really wonderful time of day, and the sun is always rising, right? You don't have to wait for a particular moon cycle for which one you're doing. But again, that can work with divine time if that's where you're wanting to go, you're able to go, you're often up at night, you're kind of a night owl. Then learning those moon cycles and become very in tune with them will also be something that will aid you in your spiritual practice. The Het Haru ritual, that was sunset. During the hours of Het Haru, who is dwelling within you, become intimate with yourself. Take an Epsom salt or Dead Sea salt bath that includes aromatherapy or essential oils to enhance your inner beauty, your gentleness, your peace. Do not use any salts if you have high blood pressure or edema. Essential oils such as cinnamon, lotus, or lavender were used by the ancients for anointing and for sweetness. So like she's saying, use what you have. These are some examples. Use what you have. Same goes for the incense. Same goes for, however it is that you're doing things. I've been trying lately to make my own incense, and it's been a beautiful experience, not only to massage the incense, pray over it, over the dough of it, and then to shape it and let it dry for a couple weeks. And then I have this wonderful smelling incense that is so personal to me in my practice. All right, while you're in the tub, chant your own way to Het Haru, Lady of Amentet, or Het Haru, Lady of the Sunset. Repeat this Hesi over and over again as the heat and the salt water and oils melt away all the challenges you may have experienced during the course of the day. While surrounded by the ocean of water in your sacred tub, release all the stress so that you may enter the night in serenity. If tonight is the night you choose for divine lovemaking, allow Het Haru's beauty to come through you. All right, so I think that this one is also important for what was I going to say? Oh, if you have a shower, you can absolutely still do all this in the shower. I've seen people tie herbs to their shower head so the water hits them as it comes down. I've seen people make an infusion in a bucket, pour it right over their head when the time comes, and just try to make the experience as relaxing as possible. And also, you might find that you may need to do this in the morning, right, to start off your day. I've noticed that my hair in these locks does not dry very fast, so I've stopped washing my hair, getting it really wet unless necessary, after 12, noon is my cutoff, because I want it to have plenty of time to dry and not be a wet mess when I go to bed and I'm sleeping all on it. All right, finally, we have Newt, nighttime. All praises to you, Mother Newt. Help me to look to you, the mother of our day star, the sun and the stars of night, as they glide through the sky to maintain my inner cosmic clock. Help me to use time wisely, to respect the time given to me, and to respect the time of others. Creator, help me to see time as being as precious as my children. Help me to become more aware that time is to be cherished and well spent, like the good times that I share with my extended family. All I have is right now, this moment, to make my life work. And this time, right now, is mine, and I give thanks. Help me to think before I set time and use time, for I will never again get this time back. May I use my time to heal, to build, to love, and to reason. Mother, Father, Creator, as the time of my age increases, may I be made glad, for only through many years of living does wisdom grow. Knowledge is my flower, and may my time be filled with memories of thankfulness and healthy seeds sown. Let me never waste my time, for it does not stand still, even for a moment. Help me remember that cycles come and go, and no matter how hard things may be right now, or how good they may be, nothing remains the same. Creator, help me remember that when the sun goes down and night falls in the hours of despair or quietude, to simply go with the flow, for time will have its way. Neither grief nor sweet solitude will last forever. In time, the sun will rise again, and joy and peace shall once again prevail. Heavenly Mother, Father, Spirit, when my time in this life is all used up and my clock finally stops, may I look back upon my life and reflect that my lessons have been well learned and that the moments of my life were filled with goodness. May I have a legacy of time well spent, and when I step over to the other side, to the realm of the ancestors, may I keep celestial time with them. Now that we've entered into the concept of sacred time, we are ready to establish the rhythm of the sacred clock throughout your 21 days of experience in Gateway 0, the sacred womb, and through each of the gateways that follow. Okay, so we have a whole chart here of sacred, the sacred clock. So she calls each time part of the day the crossroads, and I'm going to go ahead and put this up on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/Sankofa Shrine. I will put the link to it down below so that you'll be able to see. But essentially, each of the crossroads are different times of the day. So she says, acknowledge with prayer and meditation each crossroad of the day that you're awake and doing things in. So here we have 4 to 5 a.m. Nebet Het's power of hours of power before dawn, the balance between night and day. You'll be, drink some warm water, some herbal tea, some fresh wheatgrass. This is a kind of time of like the baby inside of the womb. It's a time of creation, utilizing that womb power, meditation, giving praise, welcoming in the new beginnings that are coming in. Fasting and praying may be a part of this time. 6 a.m. sunrise, dawn, the coming of the day. It's a time for renewal and awakening, a time for purification, time perhaps to write in your journal, do your womb dance, maybe have a liquid meal of some sort. She mentions her kidney, liver, flesh, as well as a fresh fruit juice, a smoothie, one of those green smoothies, or however you like to make your smoothies. So this is a great time to just feel that no matter what has happened, dawn is back and you have the ability to keep going. It's about infancy to 6, a time of discovery, of the nutritional times of a woman's age to feed body and spirit. So 9 o'clock a.m. at mid-morning is a time for deeper and greater cleansing, bringing in the spiritual state of awakening. Have your lightest solid meal of the day, fresh fruits, soaked nuts, seeds, that sort of thing. 12 o'clock p.m. is Isis's hour of power, midday. Great time for total activity and productivity, regeneration, executing your ideas and goals and plans. The sun is strong, and so it will help with your life, your vigor, your power, your vitality. Organic fresh vegetable juice again, more like either you're juicing or you use the smoothie. I think whichever one you have is best. You can also do those smoothie bowls and sprinkle some stuff inside of them too and eat them that way. I find it easier to eat like that. So this is kind of the summertime of your day. It's a time of discovery, 13 to 21 years old, those types of years. Then we have 3 o'clock p.m. afternoon. It's a time to follow through on your visions, to open doors, to make things happen, a time for fine tuning. The light is high in the sky, so you'll be seeking, exploring, learning, reaching, and obtaining. You'll also have your heaviest meal of the day, some vegetarian protein, starch, and vegetables. Remember, this is a plant-based diet in here, but I also encourage you to do what works best for you. Like, let's say you're getting food from a food pantry or something like that. You're going to need to, use what you have and work with that. But if you can be cutting out meats, switching to fish, that sort of thing, working on those little bits of discipline is also what that's about. Doing what you can to sacrifice and put effort and work into, as well as, working on building up your own body, especially if you recognize you haven't been eating very many vegetables or nutrition dense foods. So there's fresh vegetables, the whole grains, the vegetarian proteins, the starches, the vegetables. They say this is about the age of 22 to 39. It's a time for seeking truth. 4 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. is Het Haru's hours of power. It's a time for retreating, a quiet time for relaxation and contemplation, time for an herbal or salt bath, a time for fine-tuning. It's time to be still and go within, to reflect on what has happened on this divine day. Have your organic fresh vegetable juice to drink, and then later consume a light dinner of fresh vegetables, whole grains, vegetarian protein, and all of this is kind of during those sunset hours, so about 6 o'clock, perhaps 7 o'clock. So maybe not sitting down to eat at 8, but I know all of our schedules are different, and I've found myself more and more often eating around 8 o'clock at night, which I'm trying very hard to stop. So then finally, we have the 12 o'clock a.m., midnight. A sacred woman should be asleep hours before midnight to get the best from her rest, newt hours of healing and rebuilding. Absolutely. But if you are somebody whose schedule is around these times, it's still, it's good to see what you're going to have to switch or, shift to work with whatever your schedule is. A time to recharge while in deep, peaceful sleep. Have a well-ventilated room with fresh plants hanging to purify your breath of life. A time to connect with your dreams, which will reveal to you truth that is waiting to be told. It's to renew your body and restore your soul. Liquid fast or dry fast. Drink the nectar of sleep. To sleep is to eat from the spiritual realm. If you live well throughout your day, your dreams will reflect this. Also, it says this is 65 to 100, a time for living in absolute truth and enlightenment. All right, so that's where we're going to start. We're going to start off next week with the chapter 3, the spirit of the womb, and we'll be able to continue on with this journey. But for this week, let's genuinely try to make that schedule, see what we're going to be doing together. And as time goes on, we'll be able to really start to get into that habit of the schedule. And I think that, getting yourself in tune with the time and everything of what you want to get done during those times, how you want to be, that will help you to, move on to those next steps, to dedicate yourself to the next spiritual steps, because discipline, it's not really an easy thing to be able to just wake up one day, I'm going to do all these different things. it's easier to start with just starting yourself in this area. Okay, so I'm going to be rising at this time, doing this at this time, doing this around this time, and just trying to get into those habits, because then you're going to start to find you do have that time. Oh, this is a time where I can be at the altar. This is a time when I can do my spiritual baths. This is the time where like others aren't around me at all times, needing something from me, so I can give something to myself. So, yes, thank you so much for watching. May your ancestors and spirit guides be with you at every crossroads. Please check out and support us on patreon.com/Sankofa Shrine, and I will see you next time.